real quick before I say my what's up to everybody. I want to play this clip. It's from YSM Sports Media. It's a gym out of Philly. And this is going to be Greg Hackett talking about his breakdown of how he sees Devin versus BNJ. And I want to hear your thoughts on.
When you use your camera on your phone, all you do is you have to go to each picture and take a picture of each one. Then
On this.
He's going to fight, right? But when the fight's settled, fourth, fifth, sixth round, seventh round, that's kind of getting into the water. You know what I mean? Just think about walking in water. Think about getting in the pool and it's starting off at 2 feet. And then you get to 3. And then you get to 4. And then you get to 5. I mean, you understand what's happening. The water's rising and starting to suffocate. Brian Norman, to me, is not going to be able to keep up that pace the entire night.
All right, so Greg Hackett, up until this moment, is predicting that Brian Norman Jr.'s youthful energy and his willingness to jump into the fire is going to come back to burn him. He's going to also further talk about that he thinks that Devin Haney not only is going to win, but this is the fashion that he's going to win in. It's only a couple more minutes. Be patient. Here we go, because this is a talking point, and I know Greg and I usually see eye to eye on, we'll say 50% of things, but he's fun to debate with online. So I know he won't get too salty about this.
Gonna be stealing shots between 1 and 6. Gonna be stealing, meaning scoring. I mean, just to get up on the cards, not trying to do too much damage. The seventh round, it's going to be a major turnaround. They're going to start to pull off. They're going to go to the body. They're going to be sneaking them hooks in there, sneaking those right hands in there. The 8-9, he's going to be sitting down. What I see is they're going to be sitting down. Norman going to be fighting, but it's not going to have the punches not going to have the same steam. Because they don't have the same steam, Dev's gonna feel that and gain confidence off of that. And he's gonna start lowering up that motherfucker on that hand. And you're gonna go down. He might get up the first time. The second one, he's not getting up. That's what I'm saying. That's how I feel.
All right. So you heard that. One of the commentators I watch on YouTube, he goes, so you seen that, you heard that, right? I like when he says that. What do you think about Greg Hackett? He just told us that he not only sees Devin Haney dropping Brian Norman Jr., he's calling out the round. He's also saying that Devin Haney's going to knock out Brian Norman Jr. I wanted to start there. I wanted to see your guys, where you stand on that. And like I said, Greg Hackett is a pro. You know, doesn't have the best record, but he's a pro. He lives in the gym. He's in that Philly fight scene, one of the best fight scenes in North America. He knows his shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, he fought Brian Norman Sr., by the way. So this is why I brought this up. Only like 4 months ago, they did a exhibition. I don't know if they did it for charity, but they fought. He fought Brian Norman Sr. So he says that the move is Devin Haney by knockout. I'm just going to pull up those odds, and we're going to see what those odds are. I wanted to hear your opinion on this. So is he doing this to get money swung? Because this was my initial thought. I was like, oh, Greg is doing this to get money swung in one way or the other. And then he's going the opposite, right? So let's see it. Because I'm sitting here like, I had to run it by you boys first and see what are your thoughts on it. So he's saying Dev isn't only going to win. So Dev's the dog. Dev's a $2.10 dog. He said Dev by knockout. I mean, when's the last time Haney knocked somebody out? This is where I stand on this. And it's good that we're going to have this receipt. We're going to have a soundbite for this because we can revisit this. And this is going to sound weird to a lot of you guys, what I'm about to say next. But I hope Greg's right. But I totally disagree with him. Devin Haney hasn't knocked somebody out since the silent film era. So all of a sudden, Devin Haney is going to be able to use Brian Norman Jr.'s aggression against him. Now, his thought process is Devin Haney looked like the way he did against Ramirez because Ramirez was running. So he must be comparing Brian and Ramirez exactly the same, except on the contrast of rather than using the entire ring to no, my bad. He must be comparing Norman Jr. and Ramirez akin to each other, and then all of a sudden Haney is going to change his fight style and punch with Norman, and he thinks he's going to stop Norman. The last time Devin stopped somebody, who was the last guy he stopped? So I'm going to politely disagree with that take. I wanted to hear your take on it. And hey, Twin, so we got somebody in the waiting room right now. But Twin, I'm going to let you come on. If you still want to come on, Twin, you'll come on at the 30-minute mark, okay? So we're about 7 minutes into this live stream. If you guys didn't know, I do a live call-in feature every live stream for the Discord VIPs. In the Discord, I put the link. I start that at the 30-minute mark, Twin. So give me about 23 minutes, and I'll bring you on. And you could chat. You could chat whatever you want to talk about. Adu says the Prophet Hackett all sounds good till Haney gets caught early. Shawnee Shine. The moment he said knockout, I fell asleep on him. Plus, Junior is a very patient fighter who's not going to chase Devin. This is what I'm talking about, guys. It's kind of like, I think, common in boxing when you get a young champion or a guy with a lot of hype. Norman doesn't have a lot of hype. All the hype Norman has, he earned. People have been sleeping on Norman since the amateurs. This is a guy who's had to travel the world to get the fights that he wanted, whether it was traveling to Mexico, whether it was traveling to Japan against Jin Sasaki. So Norman Jr. is kind of like, he has that road warrior-esque to him. He is a Georgia guy. Maybe there's something in the water. I mean, you guys know that Evander Holyfield's, everybody knows Evander is the real deal Holyfield, but if you ask Evander, which I got to ask him, he's in my first book, he tells you his nickname was the Road Warrior. And then during the Olympics, people thought he was saying it was the real deal. He said his nickname was the Raw Deal because he got robbed in the Olympics I think, what was that? The 80s. But anyway, maybe it's something in the water. The Road Warrior with Evander, Brian Norman Jr. So I just feel he gets slept on regardless, Norman Jr. The Philippines Marathon card.